I bought this dowel maker on Amazon for under $50 Canadian. I became aware of it after I was inundated by ads and videos of it on Instagram, and it showed how it worked. And from my perspective, on paper, this should be a great product. The only problem is the dowels it produces are complete dog. That's just really not acceptable. We're gonna go through the process of making a dowel with this product. I'm gonna show you why I think it fails. So this is actually a brilliant piece of, in my opinion, of industrial design. They've really packed a lot of value into this. A lot of dowel making systems have all kinds of different components. You have to keep track of them and store them somehow. Everything is on here, including the cutting device. It's all based on this little clock design, and the dowel sizes from 8 to 20 millimeters have been bored into the solid block of aluminum. There's a carbide cutter that simply rotates to as needed to hit every dowel position. So this is a very efficient use of space. I was actually really impressed by this. You know, this thing really got to me, but it gave me ideas of how to improve my own dowel making tools. And I came up with quite a mature development in dowel making. I'm gonna share that with you in part 2. Right now, we're just gonna look at why I think this fails. But first, quickly, why do you need an accurate dowel in the first place? Why does a dowel need to look good? Why does it need to be accurately sized and cut well? Let's look at that. Why do you need accurate dowels? Why do you need a good-looking dowel to begin with? Let's just take a look at this product. I think this is a kid's gavel or hammer from IKEA. This is just 2 dowels put together. It's deceptively simple. The only thing going on, the only thing it's got going for it is it's a good-looking, well-made dowel that fits precisely into this hole that's drilled into the other dowel. So it's just 2 dowels put together. This hole has to be accurately drilled, and this dowel has to fit inside it perfectly. And that gives it the strength for kids to bash on it. If this was out of size, this whole thing would fall apart. So really, there's no hiding here. It has to be accurate work, right? So this general theory covers anything that's made from dowels. It could be staves or in a chair. It could be like the slats of a dowel slats of a crib. Anything where you need to see the dowel and you're going to see very clearly how it fits in. If you just go to home center, this is a home center dowel that I bought. So this is theoretically it's a 5/8 inch dowel, and a 5/8 inch in decimal points that's equal to 0.625. And let's see what we got here on the calipers. So we got here on the calipers. So this is 0.6020, so that's off by 200ths. And I'm gonna try and fit it into a 5/8, a very accurate 5/8 drilled hole here. And it's a super sloppy fit, right? So if you go to the home center, it's just a minefield of inaccurate dowel sizes, basically. Here are 2 dowels that I made myself with another system, but we're gonna get to that later. So these are much better sized. This one is gonna be a good fit. This is just a hair over exactly 5/8 on a caliper. And this is a good fit. I'm having to force it in there a little bit. Now that is a great mechanical fit, right? That is a perfect mechanical fit. it's going to make for a very, very strong connection if that's the only connection that is happening. This is about maybe like 1,000ths less than that. And you can see it's good, but it's a little sloppy, right? So it's just not as good. Maybe that can be taken up with glue or whatever. These fits have to be precise within very, very small fractions of an inch to have that great mechanical fit. And again, if that's the only thing going on in your piece, and that's the structural mechanical strength of your piece, it has to be good. It has to be bang on. And you have to have the ability to sneak up on it. You have to have the ability to cut it just a little bit oversized, just a 1/64th of an inch, or something, a very small fraction oversized, and then you gotta squeeze in the fit, you gotta work your fit, you gotta do a little bit of sanding to get it to just sneak up on it, so it's just perfectly that piston fit that you want. First thing we have to do is mount the dowel maker to a scrap piece of board. It has to be clamped on and mounted very firmly because there's a lot of forces going to be put on this little guy. Now we select what size dowel we want to cut. So again, the carbide cutter simply pivots around. I'm going to pivot it to the 16mm point because that's the first one I'm going to try and cut. Very firm. I'm going to do softwood first. This is about 17mm by 17mm. I've got it tapered at the beginning just so it can get started. I'm going to run it via a drill, and I've got one of these 12-point sockets on the end that will hold it really firmly. So you get it started, and as I'm rotating, the cutter's going to cut it. Try and get the angle right. So that is the surface finish, and that's just really not acceptable. Let's check the dimensions. It's at 15.77mm, so there's no hope in hell of it ever having a great fit. Why do I think this failed? I want to hear from you in the comments as well, why you think it failed. Theoretically, the lathe-style carbide cutter should work. It's producing a scraping cut, but what I think it's just a question of there's not enough on a lathe. If this was mounted on a lathe, it's very stable and very high velocity. So when you're going in with a standard drill, you're not producing that velocity, and definitely not producing the stability. It's just, there's no way to stabilize unless you're a robot, to stabilize yourself so much that you could just feed it perfectly in. And then it becomes a question of is it being sort of held in its rotational state? So it's kind of like, man, they just did a great job on the industrial design, but they failed to see the physics. And I don't know how this ever got to the point where it got out there and people thought that it was going to produce some sort of dowel that was pleasing to anyone wanting to make a nice dowel. If it's just brute force using this internally in something, yeah, it could work with a lot of glue and whatnot. It's still not very accurate. But yeah, as far as something that would be on the face of a piece, it's absolutely 100% not going to satisfy anyone. For the next test, I ran some oak and some maple hardwood to see if it produced any better results, and it did not. So as I said before, even though this product was a fail for me, it gave me a lot of really great ideas on how to improve and how to mature something I'd already been working on in dowel making. I made a couple of prototypes and I've been working with them, and I'm just really excited to share it with you. I think if you're interested in accurate dowels and dowels with great surface finish, you're going to be really excited by this. So that should be coming out sometime next week, and stay tuned for that. Thanks.